Cool. So this is Remix Awesome Meetup. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, welcome for the first time. It's just a meetup about Remix, which is a web framework. It is not about remixing music. We've made that mistake before. Again, just have to say that, have to make sure that's clear. If you don't know what Remixes is, that's super cool. We're going to learn about it tonight. Karen's going to do a talk about some cool projects she's been doing, and then we've got a pre-recorded talk by returning speaker, Paul. And he's going to share some stuff about like full stack components and some cool ideas there. So we're today tonight, like I said, Karen Douglas is going to be speaking about learning Remix with Frontend Mentor. Really excited about that. Thanks, Karen, for volunteering. Super excited to hear your talk. That'd be great. And then, like I said, Paul he had a pre-recorded talk. He was going to come, and then he had kind of a family something come up. So we're excited he's out here in person, but we love Paul and excited to hear him talk. I do want to say really quickly, food was sponsored by Tech Systems, so thank you guys again for the food. Really appreciate it. If you come next month, they're going to be talking a little bit more about what Tech System is and why they wanted to sponsor us with food. So that'll be good. Cool. Nope, that's for later. So I'm going to stop sharing, and we'll go ahead and hand it over to Karen.
Hello, my name is Karen Douglas, and I am an aspiring software developer, and I'm here to tell you how Frontend Mentor is helping me to learn Remix. But first, I will explain what Frontend Mentor is, and then I will show you the project I've been working on and show you how it's been helping me to learn Remix. So Frontend Mentor is a website that helps you to improve your front-end skills through giving you real projects with professional web designs. First, you choose your project, and there are plenty of options you can choose from. For example, there are challenges that are based off of difficulty level, like noob, junior, intermediate, and guru. There are challenges based off of language, like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And there are even program challenges that work with APIs. In any case, after you've selected the challenge, you can download their Sketch or Figma files. These will usually come with a professional design system, image assets, and HTML with pre-written content to get you started. To build this solution out, you can use whatever technologies you want to grow in, whether that's a JavaScript framework like React, Vue, Angular, or a meta framework like Remix, the reason why we're all here, or even preprocessors, so on and so forth. Once you have completed your challenge, then you can submit your solution to Frontend Mentor after you've deployed it, and you'll see other solutions by other developers, and you can even give and receive feedback. So that's essentially what Frontend Mentor is. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So now I want to show you the project that I chose with Frontend Mentor and tell you why I chose this particular project and how it's been helping me to learn Remix. I've deployed it to Vercel at scoot-multipage.vercel.app if you want to check it out. Let me just get over here. Okay, so Scoot is a 4-page business website. It has the homepage, about, careers, and locations. Most of this is hard coded, but for the frequently asked questions portion here, and also for the career section, these components are being rendered with JSON data, and I'll explain more about that later on. I built this with React, TypeScript, Sass, and of course Remix. And one of the most challenging aspects of this website is the design, as there are a lot of layout changes based off of screen size. However, there isn't a lot of JavaScript heavy logic here. There is a menu toggle, mapping through JSON data, hover states and active states for this project. Aside from that, this is considered an intermediate level project with Frontend Mentor. But looking back, honestly, I wouldn't have chosen an intermediate level project, as a lot of these elements were challenging enough for me, but the reason why I chose this project is because I felt that it could satisfy my goals. So my goals for this project was first, I wanted to improve in my CSS. I also wanted to get introduced to TypeScript as I've never used TypeScript before. And I also wanted to dip my toe in the pool of Remix. That is why I chose this project, because I felt that it could satisfy my goals with that. So Frontend Mentor is helping me to learn Remix through basically applying Remix features to the project as I build it and learn Remix along the way. For example, I took advantage of Remix's file-based routing system for my page routes, as you can see here. I also took advantage of the index routing feature that is available with Remix and the data loading feature for the same section, the frequently asked questions in the career section. I used the loader to render the JSON data with Remix. So essentially, Remix has helped me to learn, Frontend Mentor has helped me to learn Remix through applying the technology to the designs and learning along the way. And I would highly recommend it to anyone looking to grow in software development, especially if you're a noob like me. And this is how Remix has taught me, Frontend Mentor has taught me Remix. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, where I post irregularly about software development. This was probably the first time I posted in like a month, so to talk about this, but if you want to see my coding journey, you can follow me there. Thank you.
Nice. Thanks so much, Karen. That was awesome.
Where
Yeah,
did you
don't follow
find
her?
Where did you find Frontend Mentor? I hadn't heard about it before.
I found it on YouTube. A lot of influencers are talking about it, and that's where I decided to try it.
Awesome.
Is there any fee associated? How's that work? You might have said that.
So there's free and premium. So there are free options. I don't know if they give you like the same like sketch details as they do with the premium, but I'm using the premium and I love it.
That's awesome.
I don't know how much it costs.
No.
$98 for the year. Yeah, that's
Okay,
what it is.
cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, yeah, that's like a great portfolio project.
Yes.
Sounds like you got a lot of experience. That's awesome.
And they encourage you to use their sketches for your portfolio. So you can absolutely put it on your own portfolio.
That's awesome. I was curious, did you engage a lot with like the community aspect? Did you comment on people or get any comments from people with yours?
No, I did not. There are people who leave comments. I feel like it's one of those, it's just like social media with Twitter. Like the more active you are in comments, the more people are going to comment to you.
Okay.
But if you don't, then you're going to not get as much feedback.
That makes sense. Yeah. Did anyone else have any questions?
Do you have any problem with like the routing or anything, any tricky parts in particular?
Yeah, so the funniest part for me was just starting the types node error I kept getting with Remix. And then I saw a tweet by Kent C Dodds that tells you to, the package of types node, which I did have. And then I restarted my computer and it all started working. But it was pretty intuitive. Because Remix is new, that actually helped me out a lot because it forced me to read the documentation, which I honestly avoid. I like tutorials. But because there's not a lot of information on Remix, it forced me to look at the documentation and I ended up getting better with that too.
Nice. That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So the site was kind of mostly style heavy, design heavy, but how did Remix help you with that? Like whether it's like the way it's organized, because it's still got this server side, client side, is that confusing or didn't pose a problem?
Actually, so with Remix, you have to link to your vanilla CSS style sheets. And they also have it based off of the screen size. So I'd have to create a different sheet for not only like the shared pages, but also for different screen sizes. And that was a challenge at first, trying to figure out how to, first of all, arrange the links. And I can actually show that. It might be a little embarrassing because I only realized later that I probably wasn't using the most effective way, but I would love to show that. So with Remix, I need to use this links function here. And also, in each one of these objects are the style sheets for different components. And as you can see where it says media, I would have to create a separate style sheet for different medias as opposed to what you can do normally in CSS is the media queries right there. So that's separate sheets for different screens, and that was challenging. And looking back, I think it would have been better to have, instead of like I have every component here, like I have like if I go to another one, like careers, like as you can see, I have a career shared styles, a careers desktop styles, tablet styles, mobile styles, list, and then these are a different component, careers lists shared styles, careers list mobile styles. I think it would have been better if I had these different components on the same sheet, but for the same screen size. Does that make sense? So that was a challenge that I came up across while building it. And another interesting one, now that I think about it, is the SVGs with Frontend Mentor. You cannot import them the same way that you normally would with React. You'd have to make this SVG into a React component in order to for it to render on the page. And so I didn't know that. So for the longest time, I was just like screaming at the computer, what's going on? And then I finally thought maybe Remix has answers for this. And next thing I know, I realized, oh, I need to make this its own component. So that was some other challenges, but because I picked a project that was style heavy, it helped that I didn't bump into too many obstacles because I was just dipping my toe again into the pool of Remix. So I didn't want to choose something too complicated already that would give me too many problems. All right, anything else?
Do you feel like you accomplished the goals you set out for when you picked the project?
Yes, I do. I feel like I am more comfortable with Remix after building this project and also just finishing a project from start to finish. This is, for me, the most challenging project I've done, especially with TypeScript 2, learning that. So yeah, I feel good about it. Does it look decent to you guys?
Oh, yeah,
That's
great.
Finishing things is the most important part
Yes.
and the most difficult. So
I think that's a good question.
Yeah, Seth online asked, what features would you add to extend the functionality of your site? If any.
Features I would add to extend the functionality.
The muscle picture view.
No. I guess I don't think I would add any to this one. I'm actually ready to never look at this again.
So
You don't want to start screaming.
Yeah, so there you go, Seth.
Yeah, so fair enough. That's awesome. Yeah, to make with the SVG thing, that's funny. We interviewed a principal engineer the other day, and we had the same problem because every environment has a different way they can, are they automatically importing SVG? So they're importing as an image. So don't worry, that gets a lot of people. So cool. That's awesome.
The issue again with SVGs, I missed that.
You can't just import it like you can at the top, you'd have to instead turn the SVG into a React component in order to see it.
Doesn't Remix do maybe it doesn't do this with SVGs, but like with other assets, it does the whole fingerprinting thing. And you can just use it, but then you have to use an image source. You can't use that as a component.
Yeah,
That's the key.
that's the difference. So yes, so with Webpack, you can set it up to where basically if you're importing SVG, it automatically turns into a React component. So that's what a lot of people are used to because that's what Create React App does. So then all us web developers who started in 2015 or 2016 thought that that's just what magically happens. One day you do it in a different project, and you're like, what is going on? So you are right. Remix will automatically turn if you import something that like an SVG or an PNG or whatever, it'll fingerprint it and turn it to a file path, and you can use that file path. So you can use it as a source for an image. Different challenges that you're getting because you could, that's maybe a little bit lighter. You're not rendering as much stuff, but you can't style it in the same way because it's not like an image essentially. So.
I am curious about the SVGs actually, because I feel like this project that I had several SVGs, like maybe 20, which would make turning it into a React component pretty complicated. Yeah. Do you guys have anything that you do to deal with that?
There's a bunch of libraries out there, and usually I kind of start there. But admittedly, I'm kind of stubborn about how I like to do it. So what ends up happening every project is like maybe a waste of time, maybe for fun. I end up kind of doing it my own way. And then I'll go to like the React icons, pop out the SVG and put it in my own. But I do it because I'm stubborn. Right? So I think the real way is like just go grab it off a library if possible.
Yeah.
Like Hero icons, I think exports them as, a lot of them will export them as React components for you. So you can install like a NPM package with all of the icons and then just import it from that node module. And yeah, it saves a lot of time.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have like a code snippet or an emit shortcut or something else that will just spit out a functional component with
Oh, yeah.
a place for you to copy paste the SVG, that's pretty much it. So the same way you can type like RCF and it'll automatically create a functional component that's exported as a default or whatever it is. You might be able to do something like that.
I think some of those libraries, like he's talking about, I like the ones where I don't even have to install it. It's like on the website, and I can copy the whole React component and then just like make a file and do it. And that way I don't have to hold
You
it.
just copy paste it, yeah.
Especially in scale. If you've got 20 and then it goes to 100 and then it goes to 200.
Yeah. I just say too bad. My users don't get icons. So. No icons. Sweet. All right. I forgot to do this. Oh man, I'm gonna die. Oh well, not die personally. Sorry, the battery. Seth had some. Yeah, didn't get it. Seth had some jokes for us, so I'm gonna read them. What is Fonzie? Where does Fonzie like to go for lunch?
Oh, God.
Chick-fil-A. Oh, no, I can't do the Fonzie voice. All right.
Hey.
Why was the broom late for the meeting?
Because it got.
It overswept.
Oh, I was gonna say guess what?
You delivered this.
I got like 2 or 3 more. Yeah, I'm sure about this. Why did the cowboy have a wiener dog? Come on, Brian. You got the funniest line of us all.
Like a dachshund. I don't know.
Yeah. Somebody told him to get along, little doggy.
Is this a normal segment of like?
No, Seth is a regular, but he is not here tonight, so he just sent a ton of. Okay. No, I gotta do one more. What do you call 52 pieces of bread?
52?
Yeah, specifically 52 pieces of bread. What do you call that? Verbs. A deck of carbs. Alright, Seth is cracking up on the other side. He finds this hilarious.
So good.
I follow that.
Yeah, while, do you mind switching to not sharing anymore? I'm going to share really quick. In between. Oh, you're good. I think just no, actually, yeah, you're right. Hit the share content. I'm going to hit stop sharing. So I'm stalling because I need a charger. So we'll skip these parts. So if you have ideas for talks, I'm always looking for other speakers. That's just a constant thing that you got to do when you're doing a meetup. Karen was super awesome to speak this time. I think I've been begging you for like 3 to 6 months or something like that, which is cool. But we got, there's so many ideas, and this is actually not an up-to-date thing because I should have pointed this out. If you have not been staying up to date with Remix, they have released 1.11 and also 1.10 both have a ton of things. If you're not familiar, 1.11 released basically streaming. React 18, I don't know if you guys have known this, but like for like 4 or 5 years, we've been talking about what React Async was, what it was originally called, and like suspense and all these kind of different things are called. Oh, thank you so much. Anyway, Remix now has like support for that. So if you haven't checked it out, I very highly recommend go to, the release docs, check out what they've been releasing because there's cool stuff. And if you figure out how to use it and figure out a cool demo to show it, like that's a talk right there, because no one else has really done it for a talk except for Ryan Florence. So you're only competing against him, and that's okay. So anyway, always looking for people to give talks, and yeah. So that's a bunch of talk ideas. And then secondarily, we're building a website. If you're unfamiliar, if this is your first time here, we do have a website that we're building. We've been off and on about how active we are, but Grant's been pretty active about it. He's got I think a PR site up right now for doing like build deploys, right? Or sorry, preview deploys, which is super cool. We just added a code of conduct, so no one can be mean to each other anymore. So that's good. We're probably gonna add a CMS and just some other crazy stuff just to make it really fun. Like, let's just go bananas and build something together.
Push to the main branch. You have a PR up.
Oh, I can push to May. That's the power I have.
I should say this actually, the website does exist. There is a slight CLS, like cumulative layout shift problem. So if someone wants to take a really easy bug and fix that, please do that. That'd be awesome. It's really like subtle. You can see it there.
We're accurate on the other 3 metrics.
That's okay. Awesome. See,
On
there you go,
page
hundreds
B.
down the way. The only server-side part is going to be added, and it's this like this actually links to meetup.com and shows you how many people are coming. There are not 33 people in this room, unfortunately. So I don't know.
Defer that live coding tonight.
Yeah, there you go. But no, we do actually have another talk. So I'm just, again, like I was telling, because I need to get a charger, so I would not, my laptop would not die. Cool. Okay, that's all the announcements. So usually I do announcements at the end, not doing that at the end. We're gonna do this really awkward thing where I run out of the room because I can't play this and also play it here at the same time. So give me like 2 seconds to go set that up, everybody.
Hi and welcome. My name is Paul, and sorry I could not be there in person today, but I'm still psyched to be able to give you this presentation in this video format. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Paul. I started learning to code late in my life, but I love everything React, especially Remix. Big caveat here is that I am brand new to Remix and I'm still on my learning journey, so please be patient with me. So thank you for coming by and stopping by today, regardless if you're in person or online. It's really awesome to be here. By the way, before we continue, thank you, Brooke and HEB, for hosting this amazing Remix meetup. I always love to be here when I can. I am a self-taught developer, work as a developer advocate at Strappy, and of course, a selfless plug. If you need to create an API really fast, check out Strappy at strappy.io because it's really awesome. And I love using it with Remix, but you don't have to. That's the beauty of Remix. It's a full stack framework that allows you to build full stack application, which is pretty awesome. So let's talk full stack components. Today, we're going to talk about what they are, why. We're going to find out what is a resource route. You can export anything from your resource route, which is interesting. And then we're going to demo a bunch of stuff. So a full stack component, it's not something that I came up by myself. Obviously, I didn't because I'm still learning, but there's a pattern introduced by Kent C Dodds. If you don't know who it is, I don't know where you've been living. And it's basically adding logic to your component that you could import or export anywhere in your code base. And if you're wondering where I learned about this, is from this amazing talk that Kent did on full stack components. I will put it in the description below. He also has an article, so go check it out. Giving credit where it's due, but I really like the pattern, and so I'd like to share it with you. So first, why? Why would you want something like that? So in a lot of cases, having a component tied to your UI route is not convenient. For instance, I want to have a like button or a follow button in a bunch of different places in my code, and I don't want to have to rewrite that logic. Wouldn't it be awesome if you could combine the things together? And here's an example of what I'm trying to do. I want to be able to have a follow button on the home page where people could see the notes that they want to follow, but I also want to have that same button in my backend where I could unfollow a note that I don't want to follow anymore. And so how do you share that logic? So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, let's take a look at the resource routes. Resource routes are not part of your application UI, but still part of your application. What does that mean? So you can create a route, and as long as you don't do a default export, it's going to be treated like your resource route. Like in this example, we're using a loader whenever we hit that route resources test, we're going to return that message, hello remix, which is kind of cool. You could export anything from that file, which is interesting. So within that same file, where we have a loader function that I just showed you that exports hello world, we could also have a component. As long as it's not a default export, it's still going to be treated as our resource route. So we could have our logic and we could also have our component. So that's very interesting and cool at the same time. Why not have your component consume that resource route that we created? And that is basically what a full stack component is, or idea of it, is when you consume the logic from your resource route in your UI component in the same file that you could import or export to anywhere you like. So now let's look at the demo in my code to give us a better example of how I implemented this idea. So I ended up using the indie stack example. If you want to learn about Remix stacks, go to remix.run website. In their docs, you will get all the info. And what's awesome, they have a bunch of different stacks that you can use to get started quickly. And that's the path I recommend for someone starting out with Remix. Go ahead, try out the indie stack, see what it comes with, and start playing with Remix. It's really, really cool and awesome. And that's what I used for my project. This is a simple example that allows you to create nodes. It has authentication and logging in out of the box. For instance, if I go to my page, I could log out, which is pretty awesome. And so I built on this example. As you could see here, I have my follow or like button. I keep referring to it follow, but it's a like button. Good Lord, but it's a like button. And so for you, in order to like this, you need to be logged in. So I'm going to log in as test user 1, I believe. I'm always really good at forgetting the test users that I create. Once we logged in, you could see the nodes that you could add and create, and you also have your like nodes. So it says we don't have any like nodes. So going back to nodes, let's go ahead and like some nodes. And here I am, I'm using a full stack component. The logic for this like button is tied into that resource route that I mentioned before, and we will take a look at an example. So I have it here on my main page, but if I also go to my liked items and I click any one of these individual items, I have that same like button. So if I dislike 2 items, you see that they get removed from my liked items. And if I go back the home page, you could see that those items were unliked. And this is kind of cool where you're able to share the logic with that full stack component where you create a resource route with particular logic that you want. It could be anything for whatever action you need to do, and you have a component like this like button. And again, it works from our home page and it works from our liked page, and it's the same component, same button. So let's take a look at it in the code. So I create a folder called resources, and it could be called whatever you want. And inside here, I have my follow JSX resource route. And inside there, we have our loader, we have our action, and here we have our like button. And I was going to put a comment here because it's not a default export. This route is being treated as a resource route. So the items that I have here for the loader and for the action, I'm actually consuming this API endpoint from the component that's within this file. And then I'm able to export it anywhere in my code base. For instance, I'm using it on my index page. Here we are, node like button, and I'm also using it on the single node items. And the logic for this lives inside our follow route. That's not tied to any particular other route. So this is awesome, and I love this pattern because of that flexibility. And as we could see here, I have my component where I have a like button, and depending on, and when you click it, basically what I'll do, it will call our action, which will check if the user exists. If so on, it will get the data and we'll see if you previously liked the node. If so, it will unlike it. And if you didn't like it yet, it will like it again. And then we're using the loader just in case whenever the button first loads, it will check if you're not logged in, just show in the UI as false. In order to see your like button, you need to be a logged in user. And then so on here, it will also check, is this an item that you liked? If so, it will mark it as like. If not, it would mark it as false. But basically, almost irrelevant what the logic is. The big takeaway of today is that you're able to create a resource route in which you could have your logic that lives within your loader or your action functions, whatever it may be. And then you create a component, which could be, again, any component. It could be a search box. It could be anything that you need. And what makes it a full stack component is that your component here, it is consuming your resource route. And what's convenient about this is that you have everything in the same file. So I hope that this helped you to understand what a full stack component is. This a pattern that you should use all the time? I suggest give it a try, and even more, I would suggest go check out Kent C Dodds' video that I shared earlier to get even more of an in-depth idea of how he used it. And I really like this pattern because it allows me to reuse certain things in many different places. So if you really like this talk, thank you. And if you didn't, I'll try to do better next time. But thank you for stopping by. Here's some helpful resources. If you're new to Remix, check out their docs, their Remix guide, another cool website. Check out Remix YouTube channel, a lot of great tutorials. Check out Remix Discord, really, really helpful. There's good tutorials for Frontend Master, Cat.io, and of course, keep coming back to these Remix Austin meetups. Brooks does an amazing job. Really love you, love the energy, love all the people that come, and you'll definitely, as long as they keep letting me give talks, I'm going to continue giving them about Remix because I love them so much. And in the next talk, I would love to talk about how to connect a CMS to your Remix application. But in the meantime, you can find me on Twitter at Coding30, and I do have a weird YouTube channel, Coding After 30. Why is it called Coding After 30? Because I started to learn to code late in my 30s to switch careers, but that's here or there. You could check it out if you like. But again, thanks a lot, and everybody have a great rest of the week. And if you have questions or you found something I did wrong, send me a tweet. I'd love to hear from you. And sorry that I couldn't be there in person. Thanks so much, and have a great one.